Hello everybody, Imminent Storm here. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Online Shadowbringers. In the last episode, we finished off the main scenario quests that were available in the 5.5 patch content, where we saw the aftermath of the events of Paglathon, and also the fact that Arenvald was severely injured during his expedition with Fordola into one of the towers, which has affected Alphino a bit. And also we saw Estinian join the Scions, and Kryl head off to Sharlayan to do some work there. So it's been a couple of weeks since I last posted an episode, because now the new 5.55 patch is out with more main scenario quests to do. And also, I realized that I had not gotten to another bit of content that we have been working on, which is the Werlyt questline, which their new stage of that was added in 5.5, featuring the diamond weapon, which we learned about in the previous quests we did there. So I've decided that we're going to go ahead and do those quests. Oh, someone's turning something on. And go ahead and finish off that story series. Now this is, again, the story about the various weapons. So, you know, ruby weapon, sapphire weapon, emerald weapon, and about Gaius and the orphans that he has adopted. So, last we saw there, we destroyed emerald weapon and recovered Ali, I think it was her name, one of said orphans. And so now we need to deal with what the next thing is going to be. And I think that the quest we can take to get this all started is over here with the resistance officer. In memory. Alright, let's go ahead and get this started. Ayame, I was hoping I might have a word with you. Ever since Turncliffe was liberated, we've been sending troops to aid in getting the town back on its feet, helping the residents, that sort of thing. We all Amigans know how hard life can be for a society struggling to stand on its own after years of Imperial rule. A lot of what most people would take for granted has to be rebuilt from the ground up. While we're able to assist when it comes to providing basic resources and keeping the place safe, there are countless other problems that need attending to. If you can spare the time, we could use your help. Bless you, Ayame. You really are a saint, but I'm sure the people of Turncliffe will benefit from having someone like you around. Once you're ready, have a word with your usual escort. I wish you all the best. Alright. Yeah, we'll go do what we can. Now, these other quests you might see over here that I'm working on are all for the relic weapon, which, you know, I actually have been working a lot on. So, I have my shiny, glowy gun. So there we go. Alright, resistance escorts. Alright, so the boss roped you into helping, did he? I knew you couldn't say no. Alright, we will travel to Turncliffe. Alright, there's Valdolin and Gaius. You have anything to say interesting? The majority of the 7th Legion are sure to be stationed in the city of Werlyt, the heart of this occupied territory. Whether Alphonse is there with them remains to be seen. According to Ali, another weapon lies in wait, but where we do not know. It stands to reason, however, that if we were to find it, Alphonse would surely not be far away. Right. Alright, now there is an indicator saying that there's something over here. Yes, despondent civilian. Hello. You're the one who piloted that war machina and defeated the sapphire weapon, aren't you? Yep, that's me. I thought so. I have heard much about you, but I doubt you know who I am. My name is Evelina. Okay, Evelina. And I grew up here. I stayed throughout the occupation and was put to work as a Magitech engineer. Oh. Thanks to you and yours, we are now rid of the Imperials, though I fear many of us will struggle to put the past behind us. For 10 long years we suffered at their hands. A whole generation of young people were forced into the army and sent off to die in some distant land. I suppose I could be considered one of the lucky few. My work here kept me away from the battlefield, and I hope that my contributions might help the others live long enough to make their way home. In the end, most of them never returned. Though my efforts were in vain, I can at least honor their memory. I want to leave something behind for their sake, to prove that they haven't been forgotten. A monument bearing their names. To ensure that not a single person is omitted, I need to see the official list of conscripts, if one still exists. It would be inside the Imperial facility beneath the town, but with the resistance troops and ironworks engineers closing the place off, I can't get near it. Perhaps you might have a word with them for me. I'll leave as soon as I find the list. Thank you. I'll follow your lead. Alright, I think we can help out with that. Alright, burly engineer. Something I can help you with? Give him the rundown. I see. It's been unusual for one of the locals to show an interest in the Imperial's leavings, but it seems she has her reasons. Since we're still carrying out our investigations, we've closed the place off to prevent anyone interfering. Considering it's you who's asking, though, I can hardly say no. Exactly. Still, I'd better go with her in case the others kick up a fuss. You're very kind. I'm sorry for any trouble I've caused. You have my thanks. Think nothing of it. I was glad to help. As I'd suspected, the Imperials kept detailed records of the local conscripts. One name in particular stood out to me. My friend, Melisandria. I had no idea she'd been assigned to the 7th Legion of all places. Ah. How did you know her? Melisandria was the pilot of Ruby Weapon. It all began while we were serving together in the 14th Legion. We had much in common, both being drafted from the same occupied territory, and we soon became firm friends. Then one day she was sent to fight in Eorzea while I remained here. The day before she left, she came to say goodbye, together with her foster siblings from the orphanage. The youngest one, Recon, was particularly upset about not being allowed to speak with their adoptive father, Gaius Van Balesar, before they departed. It was actually another of his orphans, Livius Junius, who forbid them from seeing him. I can't say for certain, but it seemed that Livia had a strong attachment to Gaius and wouldn't let anyone else near him. Yeah, she kinda did. As far as I could tell, he tried his best to keep Livia at arm's length whenever possible, but her devotion to him was bordering on obsession, and she became extremely jealous at the slightest sign of affection between him and his other wards. Others, however, treated them far more kindly. In fact, a Praefectus Castorum of the 14th Legion came specifically to meet them. While I was surprised that a Rogadan had risen to such a rank, I was even more taken aback by the unguarded manner in which he spoke with his subordinates. I had hoped that with people like him serving on the Eorzean front, they would be in safe hands. I wonder if that's for Tayton. Then the time came for Melisandre to leave. We shared a few final words, and then she was gone. It would be the last I ever saw of her. After that, I was assigned to the Tribunus Laticlavius of the 14th. Nero Tolskava. Yes, we're familiar. And I worked on restoring the ultimate weapon. I was even at the Praetorium on the day it was destroyed, but I escaped aboard an Imperial ship moments before it came crashing down. Yep, we were there too when that all happened. I eventually made my way back to Werlyt, only to be drafted into the 7th Legion to continue working on the weapon project. Even now, it makes me sick to my stomach to think I'd helped to bring those abominations into the world. Using a living pilot to feed the weapon's core was part of the design from the very beginning. Of course, they'd never dream of subjecting a true-born Garlean to such barbaric treatment. Not when the 7th Legion has a ready supply of provincial conscripts ripe for the taking. The pawns were referred to only by their code names. We engineers were not made privy to their true identities. Even with this list of conscripts, I still don't know who was sacrificed in the name of the weapon project. Well, your skills and knowledge can finally be put to good use. Could definitely use you. But what can I do? For years, all I've known is how to build tools of destruction. The 7th Legion is far from finished. They're biding their time, waiting until the right moment to unleash the final weapon. And when they do, it will bring naught but death and woe to all who stand in their way. Even after everything they've taken from us, they still want more. If it weren't for the Empire, Melisandre would still be here. She was the kindest person I ever met, but to the Empire, she was just another pawn in their games. I will never forget her. There's a way I can make a difference. I know there is. But first, I need to speak with members of the Ironworks. I'm feeling that war machina you used to beat the Sapphire weapon will be called into action again. Until then, there's still time to make improvements, and I intend to help. There we go. I'm still going ahead with a plan to build a monument, but stopping the Empire must come first. I hope Melisandre and the others can wait a little longer. Before I go, allow me to express my gratitude. I don't know what I've done if it weren't for you. Until we meet again. Alright, there we go. But now we have to head back to Porta Praetoria to speak with the Resistance officer again. So we have to return to Giribania. And then we're going to be right back. Alright, so how was your time in Turncliffe? Interesting. I see. Fate has dealt her a cruel hand, but now she has a chance to make a fresh start. The same could be said of the whole of Turncliffe. It seems the liberation of that one small town will become a pivotal moment in Werlyt's history. Perhaps it won't be too long before the rest of the region is free from the Empire. Well, we'll see. Naturally, we'd be honored to fight alongside the people of Werlyt. We won't rest until the Imperials are sent fleeing with their tails between their legs. Until that day arrives, we'll carry on doing our bit to support you and the others in ending the weapon project. I'll be sure to pass on any pertinent information. In the meantime, take care. Alright, the next quest is Duty in the Sky with Diamond. Yes. I wasn't expecting to see you here, considering all that's been happening about Eorzea of late. Still, if you have a mind to assist us, we'd like to share the latest developments in Werlyt. And as luck would have it, here comes the ideal person to explain the situation. Thanks, I'll take it from here. Alright, who's this? Ah, Monago. I'm glad to see you looking so well, Yame. It's been too long, Monago. Testing to see whether you remember her name. Yes, it certainly has. I haven't seen you around Rogger's Reach much lately. Anyone would think you're trying to avoid me. But as much as I'd love to stand around chatting, I'm afraid I've got some serious business to discuss. Following the liberation of Turncliffe, it seems the people of Werlyt also have their hearts set on freeing themselves from the grip of the Empire. Like-minded citizens have rallied under the banner of the Werlyt Revolutionaries, and they aim to depose the 7th Legion that currently occupies the city. Their ranks include many former conscripts, and between them, they possess no small amount of combat experience. The only thing they lack is someone to lead them. After much consideration, they decided to turn to none other than Gaius Balsar. Of course, many would balk at the thought of turning to a former enemy, and many did, but desperate times call for desperate measures. His reputation as a legatus speaks for itself, and as most Alamegans will attest, he was a far more reasonable and pragmatic leader than his predecessor, the Mad King, Theodoric, or his successor Xenos, for that matter. But more importantly, he was the one who led the invasion of Werlyt in the first place, so who better than him to take it back? After accepting their offer, he requested the delivery of additional arms and provisions from the Alamegan resistance. We got our hands full dealing with the Telephoroi, as do the rest of our allies in Eorzea, but we'll do what we can. While my comrades see to the preparations, I've been assigned to meet with him in person. I was wondering, could you accompany me to Turncliffe? Thanks, Yami. To be perfectly honest, coming face to face with the Black Wolf is a rather daunting prospect, even if he has supposedly turned over a new leaf. But I'm sure having you there will make a world of difference. Yeah, he's turned to a big softy. Don't worry about it. Alright, I believe you're acquainted with our escort, yes? Let him know when you're ready to get going. Alright, so let's talk to the escort. Another trip to Turncliffe, is it? Yep, we were just there. Alright. Gaius, how are things going? Ah, Gaius Balsar, I presume. I come bearing the Alamegan Resistance's official reply to request for aid. I see. You have my thanks. Does this mean we can finally make our move? With the assistance of the Alamegans, we will soon have sufficient arms at our disposal to stand a chance of victory, but lest we forget, the 7th Legion has been conserving its strength thus far, and we must be prepared for severe casualties should its full might be brought to bear. If our lives must be the price of freedom, we will pay it willingly. Let me be clear, we Alamegans have not forgotten that it was you who led the invasion of our homeland. The blood of our fallen loved ones is on your hands. Even so, the people of Werlyt chose you to lead the revolution, and we will honor their decision. I only hope they will not come to regret it. As do I. Should I be found unworthy of their trust, I shall submit to their judgment, and whatever that may entail. Forgive me, but might we return to the task at hand? First, I would like to discuss the transportation of supplies from Amigo. This way, if you please. Go hash out the details. Once again, I prepare to lead an army into Werlyt. The irony is not lost on me. There's a cruel twist of fate that these people, so desperate from years of oppression, should turn to their conqueror for salvation. For most of my life, I believed that only the Empire possessed the strength and wisdom to lead mankind, that only through great sacrifice could civilization hope to thrive. And so I led the conquest of Eorzea, forcing the doctrine of Garlemald upon the ignorant and uncivilized. In every territory I sought out those with the potential for greatness, without regard for one's birth or circumstances, that they might serve the Empire. But there are those, such as Valens, who see being born Garlean a virtue in itself, one above all others. To think that a monster such as him should be granted the position of legatus and everything that entails, it makes my blood boil. Valens brings shame upon our homeland and makes mock of the ideals it once stood for. By my hand he shall pay for his foul crimes. We are running out of time, Gaius. We have to go after her. Huh? There is something I would show you, but not here. Come with me. Alright, what's going on? Gaius? You must keep this yourself. You must keep this to yourself. I do not want the soldiers to think I am being distracted by personal matters. This letter was found in her room. And this is from Ali. Dear Father, I am sorry for leaving without saying goodbye, but the thought of Alphonse suffering alone is more than I can bear. For his sake and for the freedom of Werlyt, I have decided to take matters into my own hands. I know of a way to save them, a way to end it all. I have to seize this chance before it is too late. My mind is set. Please, do not try to stop me, Father. The days we spent together were the happiest of my life, and no matter what happens, nothing can take that away from me. With all my love, Ali. He is heading for the 7th Legion stronghold in Werlyt. I am certain of it. Taking matters into her own hands. Diamond weapon. You must be planning to take control of one of the weapons. Yes. If so, there's no time to waste. We have to mobilize our forces and save Ali and Alphonse. Well, nothing more than to save them, but I cannot ask the Werlyt revolutionaries to risk their lives to rescue 2 Imperial soldiers. In any case, if we were to rush into battle without adequate preparation, the 7th Legion would tear our partisan army to shreds. And as capable a warrior as Ayame is, if she were to charge headlong into the heart of the enemy, she would be overwhelmed by sheer numbers. Maybe? Give it a shot. If we don't do something, Ali and Alphonse are as good as dead. I know, Severa, and so did Ali when she wrote that letter. Returning alive was never part of her plan. Can you hear me? I'm in Werlyt, just outside Castrum Collinum. All hell's broken loose. It was an enormous explosion, and through the smoke and flames I saw what appeared to be another weapon. At this rate, the entire... Found it. We have lost the signal. This must be what Ali spoke of in her letter, a way to end it all. Alphonse and the others were planning this from the beginning. Yes, as he's controlled the weapons and used them against the Empire. Alright, to bring the weapon project to completion and use the free Werlyt from the Empire, even at the cost of their own lives. If the revolutionaries were to hear that a weapon has been unleashed upon the Imperial headquarters, they would see it as the perfect opportunity to strike. If it's running amok, it may not distinguish between our allies and the Imperials. A large force would draw too much attention, but the three of us should be able to get close enough without it noticing us. Alright, yep, that could work. Let's do it. I cannot allow it. This is my burden to bear, and I shall bear it alone. Come on, man. I'll have you know my record for surviving dangerous missions is impeccable so far. Now, rest assured, I have every intention of making it out alive. Yes. We have things that yet need done. We're not going to die here. Very well. For the time being, I will have the revolutionaries stand by and await my signal. An opportunity to reclaim Werlyt may yet present itself. We must first be allowed to remove the threat of this new weapon. Severa, have Sid ready the G-Warrior. Alright. Understood. Once your preparations are complete, let us reconvene outside the hangar. Sometime earlier, in the 7th Legion's Werlyt headquarters. So we're going to see what went down. How wonderful it is to see you again, my dear. I was beginning to think that you weren't coming back. In my impatience, I may have vented my frustrations on that brother of yours. I do hope you'll forgive me. Lord Valens, you mentioned before that the previous weapons were merely prototypes used to gather combat data within their cores. Yes, very good. I see we're paying attention after all. Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, the primals they absorbed and the data they accumulated will serve a singular purpose. And the completion of my masterpiece, the diamond weapon. While you and your siblings were able to retrieve the necessary data from the ruby weapon before Gaius and his lackeys arrived, Sapphire and Emerald were handed to the enemy on a silver platter. Those worthless curs failed to meet even my exceedingly low expectations. As detailed in my report, I took it upon myself to infiltrate Gaius Baelsar's band of rebels and reclaim the data. Yes, you have done well, my dear. My engineers have already finished feeding it into the diamond weapon. And all that remains is for me to assume my role as pilot and for you to release my brother and the rest of our companions as per our agreement. Of course, of course. A handful of savages is a small price to pay for your remarkable talents. Even though the weapon project's revolutionary technology allows even an untrained pilot to fight with the skills of a veteran soldier, only the truly gifted can draw out the full potential of the synthetic auracite. In addition to their physical attributes and combat prowess, I require unwavering loyalty before I can even consider entrusting a candidate with one of my creations, and you are everything I desire. I'm honored that you regard me so highly, Lord Valens. However, in return for my continued cooperation, I wish to propose an extra condition to our arrangement. I request that the people of Werlyt be given full imperial citizenship and the right to self-govern. My, how very bold of you, and quite astute at that. Yes, I could grant the people of Werlyt citizenship if I so desired. Unfortunately, a mere legata such as myself is in no position to simply relinquish control of imperial territory on a whim. Come now, we both know that the weapons are but a means to an end. Your true intent is to march on the capital and claim it for yourself, correct? Interesting. Once you have taken the throne, one small territory would seem a fair reward to those, for those who played a vital role in the ascension of Emperor Valens. I say, for someone so sweet and innocent, you certainly drive a hard bargain. Very well, if it's Werlyt you want, it's yours. I'll soon have no need for this stinking backwater province anyway. What about my brother? Ah, yes, Alwick, or was it Alfred? Whatever his name is. You needn't worry. I've made special arrangements for him. He'll be perfectly safe, provided you uphold your side of the agreement. Excellent. Now, let's get you aboard the diamond weapon, shall we? One step closer to my coronation. Yep. It's not gonna go the way he thinks. This is the moment I've been waiting for. I know this isn't what Father would have wanted, but it's the only way. Please forgive me. There it is. Alright, initiating the synthetic aura sight system. All sensors activated. So far, so good. Diamond weapon, codenamed Xenos, commencing activation sequence. Behold perfection itself. Melisandre, Recon, and Rex gave their lives, that others may live without fear. The aura sight is taking hold. I'm just glad that you didn't have to go through this, Alphonse. But you'll have to go on without me. You and Father still must work together to... I'm sorry that I can't be there at your side. This is the only way. Was that, my dear? Is something the matter? The diamond weapon is mine. Your tyranny ends here, Valens. Here we go. You're missing. Lowborn filth, if you think your little performance had me fooled, you are sorely mistaken. What are you waiting for? Shut it down. Yes, my lord. Transmitting deactivation signal. It took too long. It's not responding. That insolent whelp had me worried for a moment. Bring her to me alive, even if it means damaging the machine. When I am through with her, she will beg for death. No, we can't let it end like this. Melisandre, Recon Rex, guide my hand. Alphonse, wherever you are, lend me your strength. Combat sample ready. Initiating Overmind. Subject name. Overmind? What is that? This can't be. It's ignoring the shutdown signal, initiating Overmind. But how? I don't care how. Stop that thing before it brings down the whole castrum. It brought down the whole castrum. Alright, well, now we know what happened. And now we need to deal with a rampaging, out-of-control diamond weapon. Alright. Ironworks pilot? Ready to depart? I'll send for Master Garland. We all expected another weapon to appear sooner or later, but not quite like this. According to Vaudelin, after finished laying waste to the headquarters of the 7th Legion, it took to the sky. Though this has dealt a massive blow to the Imperial forces, I am certain that Ali is on board the weapon. It must be halted before she comes to harm, and for that I need the G-Warrior and airships to transport it. See, the one thing hasn't changed since your days of the Black Wolf, your penchant for gigantic war machina. Well, who doesn't like gigantic war machina? But this means the G-Warrior has another chance to shine, and I'd be happy to oblige. Only this time, rather than having it unceremoniously towed by airships, I have a more dynamic entrance in mind. Oh, hello, Evelina. It's good to see you again, Ayame. What I hear, we have you to thank for Evelina volunteering to help the Ironworks. Since she joined the team, our work has come on leaps and bounds. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to finally put my knowledge and skills to good use. And as far as I can tell, your target is a diamond weapon, the most powerful of them all. What's worse, its design incorporates all the combat data and abilities of the other weapons, making it far more formidable than those you encountered before. Thankfully, you've had time to prepare for such an occasion. Would you care to elaborate? Let me put it like this. Thanks to Evelina's tireless dedication, the G-Warrior has been reborn. But there'll be time to explain more on the way. Come on, the Enterprise is waiting. Okay. Very impressive, but may I ask what purpose it serves? Since our objective is to rescue the pilot, we've added a means of capturing the diamond weapon. We've come to save lives, not to end them, and for that reason, the G-Warrior has been reborn. I present to you the G-Savior. Okay, so they've turned it from a mobile suit into a mobile armor. And, yeah. I think the G-Savior is actually another reference to a Gundam film, if I recall correctly. Alright, Gaius. What do you think? Once again, Sid and his engineers have provided precisely what we require before we even knew it ourselves. Due to the added complexity, we'll have Gaius pilot while Ayame handles the various armaments. Agreed. There'll be little opportunity for us to grow accustomed to our roles, but even so, we must succeed at all costs. Alright, the cloud deck is now accessible. So, we now need to fight Diamond Weapon. But we will do that next episode. So for now, we'll stop here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.